they don't know who you are, because you're not going to endorse somebody that you're not confident that's going to bring your name up as well, right?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I would add is that ask other women who advocates for you, because they may have some insights that you don't know. So just ask around. Who is a good advocate for you?
Can we just step back really quickly from a mindset standpoint, right? I was 17 years old. I was from California. Well, I am from California. Not one.
You still are.
And back then, when I was 17, 18, or 16, 17, and 16 and 17, my whole life was like shopping, right? I was that stereotypical teenage girl from California. And something possessed me to like join the army, right? And the whole joke of my friends and family was, Colleen, you're gonna be like that Goldie Hawn movie, right? And actually I went in before that Goldie Hawn movie came out, but everybody's like, Colleen, you're Goldie Hawn, right? Private Benjamin. Okay. I say that because I say, look at me, I didn't have, I went in, but I didn't go in, I didn't think I was gonna make it. But when I came out of that, right, out of 8 years, I opened up my hand and I'm like, I could physically and mentally do anything I want, okay? Every single one of you could join the military today, go through basic training, and I promise you, women can make it through basic training faster than the men, or easier than the men.
You have deep faith, Colleen.
Exactly. No, yeah. Oh my God, I can't do push-ups. I couldn't even do one female push-up. By the time I left basic training, I did 107 male push-ups. Okay? Women, you can do anything, okay? And if you don't have that mindset with conditioning, right? You may not be able to do it tomorrow. I can't run a marathon tomorrow, but I sure the heck can train for it. We can do anything. You have the education system, we have the support system, we have the physical fitness, and that, to me, my friends, you can do anything. Once you have that mindset, now it's up to you.
Beautiful, beautiful.
You're like, I don't want to go in the army, but.
I joined ROTC for 2 days in college. When they told me where to put my thumb, I remember that. They're like, put your thumb along. You're going to tell me where to put my thumb? So it's for some.
Yeah, there we go. But you could have done it if you wanted to.
I could have done it if I wanted to. I totally agree.
Yeah.
All right, so brilliant. So we're talking about what causes women to get stuck. How do women get unstuck? What are some things you've seen people do successfully to navigate some treacherous waters at work? And we're talking about all kinds of things, such as there are women who are seeking different work hours because they want to make sure they have time for childcare, or they've become a caregiver. They want to start a business on the side. There are many reasons why women might feel stuck in their careers if their home life doesn't balance with their career. What are some things you've seen that have been that successful women have done, or that you've done yourself?
I want to say that I used to work for Amazon for 11 hours. Okay, imagine, I had 11 children underage, and I was working for 11 hours at Amazon. So first of all, and I was working for a need, not because I really love what I was doing, as you were saying before. But the balance, the way you find a balance to get unstuck is by relying on your natural support. My natural support were my neighbors. I was not able to afford childcare for all my 11 kids. I was making hardly enough to support all of us.
Sure.
So it's like, but the thing is, you develop a plan of action. It's like, how do you see yourself, in 1 year, 2 years? It all depends, I do 1 year vision every year. How do I picture myself? And that is like, I knew I didn't want to work for Amazon for another year. So, my vision was to start my own business. My vision was, to do certain things, move to I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment, imagine, with 11 kids, so imagine. The living room became part of the bedroom. So the thing is, when you create a vision board, you really work for it. You know, it's like when you want to lose weight, you know, it's like I want to. How do you do that? And how do you get stuck on not being fit? It's like you buy a dress 2 sizes less what you wear, and you have it, and you know you're gonna fit in there. So this is the way. It's like, how do you picture yourself? Like, you know, so when you develop the plan of action, you know why you want to get out of work, that work. You know, if I want to start my business, you know, what are the benefits it's gonna bring to me? You know, so you, like you say, you know, you find the balance first with natural support. You know, like my neighbors will cook, you know, at time everything was cooked, they will pick up my kids, you know, from the bus stop. So create a support around you. Those, you know, whether it's your family, your friends. I had no family, so I had to rely on my friends. And then, like she said, you know, get a mindset, like picture yourself, and trust me, whatever you picture, you're gonna get there. But you have to vision yourself. You know, like I wanna tell you this. I visioned in the year 2000, before midnight 2017, that I was moving to a 7-bedroom house, and in Scottsdale. Well, guess what? I just got a call that I'm moving to a home. And then I got approved to get a 7-bedroom home. They have not found my 7-bedroom home in Scottsdale, but I got approved to move to a 7-bedroom home in Scottsdale. So, and this is, you know, it's like, you know, I moved from 1 bedroom into a 2, and then now into a 5, and then soon, you know, when they get my 7-bedroom, because it's been a 5 or 6, but not a 7. But that's how you vision yourself, and getting it stuck. It's just a balance.
Wow. Wow.
Great
That's
story.
brilliant.
Great. That's inspiring. But you were so right. You have to take the step. But here's reality. There is 24 hours in a day. There is not going to be any more. Okay? And there's only so much income you have at this time. You visualize what you want there. But so what you desire and the plan you take to get there, you have to give and take. For myself, people always talk about work-life balance. I could work 24 hours. I mean, the UPS would love to continue to give me work, right? and I'll be foolish enough to continue to take it. But you have to figure out your work-life balance. So one of our leaders, she is the chief sales officer in our organization, Kate Gutman. She has 2 kids. She's the chief sales officer for UPS. We're a $50 billion organization, and she has work-life balance. And how do you do that? She says it's quantitative, right? Or it's the quality of time. There you go, quality of time versus the quantity of time. So I have 2 kids, right? Mommy is very important as they're growing up. I was a single mom for 5 years. How do I get work-life balance and create my career, right? It's all a fuzz, so I don't know if I could tell you, but I'll tell you it's about the quantity or the quality versus quantity. If you're gonna go to a soccer game, don't multitask on your cell phone, right? Don't let your child see you up there looking at your phone. Be present. You may only be present for 30 minutes a day, but that 30 minutes a day is important. So what I'm sharing is you have to make sure you know what we know how to maximize our time. We know how to multitask, right? But you have to be very, very specific and laser focused on your priorities, because there is only 24 hours in a day.
And I think people get comfortable. Right? We're Americans. We get comfortable. We like where we're living. We like the flexibility that we have, that the income brings us. And so you almost have to identify if I'm really stuck or not, because we just sort of get numb to it and we keep moving. But then when we have our vision, right, which I think you got to know where you're going to get where you're going, you have to be okay living in that gray. You have to be okay saying, I'm not sure if, you know, denying myself a 5-bedroom home and waiting for the 7-bedroom home is the right decision, or if I should jump or if I should hold on and wait for my vision to become true. So it's a lot about trusting yourself after you've made sort of a vision in your head of what you want, which means you have to get out of your comfort zone and say, I'm not comfortable anymore, I want to go to point B, and then be able to live in that gray, be able to live in that tension while you get there. And some of us have more tolerance for tension than others. So don't judge yourself that you have to, be able to run a marathon.
Right.
In
Join the army.
Yeah. But to be able to recognize the tension that you can live with of yourself and make those incremental steps.
That's correct, but once again, like for me, my kids, I was taking them to the Young Marines on Tuesday. They were in the Boys and Girls Club. They were going to church, and I was here, and I was there, and I was here, and I was there. Because you make a commitment, but you also, the way I started was baby step, one small step at a time, baby steps, and long way it pays off.
So I'll share a story. Living in California, mid-level manager with UPS, married, living in suburbia, every house looks alike, right? Our neighbors, just had that what I would call a perfect life. The very next day, my husband, I'm cooking and my kids knock at the door, or my kids come running in the house and like, Mommy, Daddy was taken away in a police car. What? How can that happen? So let me fast forward, right? I shared I was a single mom. I was a single mom for 5 years. But when that happened, the very next day, I took inventory of what was going on. I was a little frazzled, I was a little emotional, and I was probably not the best mom for 2 weeks. But I'll tell you, it was only 2 weeks. I took an analysis of my finances, I took an analysis of where we're at, and I made that plan. Fought today, it's been since 2009. I would go through that over and over and over again to end up where I am today, right? I would do that over and over. I ended up getting a divorce, ended up being financially, having to start all over. And then here's where I was really vindicated, was the IRS granted me innocent spouse. So when the IRS said I was innocent, I knew I won. But to your point, I had to live day by day. One day, my water was turned off, right? Another day, my electricity was turned off. I had 2 kids. I still had to work. I couldn't lose my job. I'm trying to fight for whatever I had, and that was my problem. I was fighting for what I had, so I had to figure out how to fight for what I need, day by day, and there were days I had to take it hour by hour. But time goes on, just as there's 24 hours in a day, time goes on, and I would do that. I would make the same choices that I had to end up where I am today and go through that over and over again. Ladies, it can be done.
I want to highlight, I'm a business owner. I have 7 underage children living in my home. I'm a volunteer for several organizations. It can be done, But I have 3 kids that are special needs. How do I do it? I just take one day at a time.
Fantastic.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm amazed.
I don't have any kids.
It is.
And we make our choices in our life, and we all have our different challenges. So I am in awe of people who do what you do with your kids and make the choices that you do. But I'm a person who chose, until I found the perfect guy. I wasn't having kids. I never found the perfect guy. But I got to travel a lot.
That's yes.
Yeah.
How many girls in the Girl Scouts though? Because I think you have a lot of girls. I think you'd top us.
20,000 girls.
There you go.
So I love the messages about vision, having a vision and baby steps. I wanna bring in, because some of us have partners and some of us don't, but our partners can often play a key role in, or hinder our careers. Do you have any advice, for the group here on your partners? What role have they played in helping your career, actually, supporting you? What role is important, you feel, for a partner to be supportive?
So, okay, I'll bare my soul. I think I already have, but I'll bare it even more. My first husband, with whom I have my two wonderful kids, and they're like the loves of my life. They're 18 and 19. They're my love pumpkins, as I say that. My first husband, I own that ownership as well, that our marriage didn't work, outside of the fact that he did all those, he cheated, he lied, he stole, and all that, right? I think your partner has to be supportive, just like how you have to be supportive of your partner. And you can't both fight for the same thing, because in a family where you both are trying to make that family grow together, it's a collaborative effort, right? In my marriage today, I met a guy here in Arizona, and I'm happily married. We can go to lunch and have a glass of wine, and I'll tell you the other side of it, but I am happily married, if you're recording this. Yeah. No, I am happily married. And he supports me in everything that I do, because he loves me. So the person that you have when you're figuring out who's gonna take the child, who's gonna pick them up, it has to be a collaborative effort. That's not always easy in relationships, especially in today. So I would encourage, I wouldn't say a therapist, but like a counselor that can help the family become that better family. Because if you're in competition or they're in competition with you, it's not a collaborative effort, it's a competitive effort. Collaborative is where you're gonna go as a unit.
Well, I was a single mom for 7 years, and I'm happily married for the last 2 years. And then I recently just came into town. I was out of town, and then my husband was in charge of the kids. And then we had a parent teaching conference. I was not able to go. I mean, he took my place. So we collaborate. We both bring money. To pay bills equally. And then. He will do whatever needs to be done so we can continue moving forward. Whether it's, taking the kids to the doctors, whether it's, helping me in the business, whatever it needs to be done,
The emotional support, someone just to sit there and listen to your day is, I think, critical. That gives you the energy to be able to go on to the next day. So it's great to have a partner that will do that for you. I don't have a partner right now, so sometimes I just go home and yell into the whatever's closest. But I think it makes life easier if you do have a support partner.
Yeah, and sometimes your support partners is just your friends.
Yeah.
And I was just gonna go into that. I just wanna do a short story. A friend of mine calls me crying. She has lost her job. She got kicked out of where she was. Her boyfriend broke up with her, and I was there to support. Say, you're worth a lot. If you need a place where to stay, come over to my home. You'll find another job because you are smart, you are beautiful, and that's the type of support you want to see sometimes from a friend. So get out of toxic people and bring those that will listen without judgment. I'm not gonna be asking her why did she lose her job. I'm not gonna be asking her why did she got kicked out. I'm not gonna be asking her why the boyfriend broke up with her. What I'm there is just, I'm there to listen. I'm there to support her in whatever way I can, and that's the type of support you guys want, and then we all need.
So not only are you giving that support, that's a message that we should keep people like that around us. I heard you say, kick the toxic people out.
Yeah.
Really? Did everybody catch that?
Oh,
That was
yeah.
important.
It's huge.
Very good, great. Collaboration, I heard collaboration and emotional support. Okay, so I'm gonna start, we'll focus now on negotiations and talk about pay. Let's talk about money a little bit.
Let's talk about it.
Yes, great, we're ready. Well, so I'm a mentor and a coach at work, and some of the most common messages I hear from women, it's always from women, is, I asked for extra pay, but my manager told me that I was being too aggressive. Or I asked for a promotion and my manager said that I should wait my turn. These are things that women sometimes hear when they ask for a promotion or for a raise. I want to ask our panel, ask you ladies, what are some things that women should be prepared for when they ask for a promotion or a raise? What might they hear that they should kind of approach with some curiosity or, some doubt? What might they hear in a conversation?
So I have a little experience. When you are ready to, be paid for the value that you bring to an organization, you have to know your self-worth and the value of how you drive the business objectives, right? So that means you have to be very clear about what the business objectives are. Is it more sales? Is it increased membership? Whatever the business objectives are, you have to be very clear about what they are. Then you also have to be aware of what the organizational values are and making sure they're aligned with your values, because not all organization values do, right? I mean, that doesn't always happen. So once you get clear about what the business objectives are and how your role sort of fits in with that business objective. So, HR director, Girl Scouts, one of our big goals is to drive membership, which means more values. How do I support that? What difference am I going to make? And for me, that means recruiting, right? I'm going to recruit the best and the brightest, those people who have that sales skills, let's say, and make sure that my leader, my manager, the one who's gonna make the decision about whether I get promoted or not, or the larger scope of job, knows that I'm driving the business values and I'm driving the business objectives. And so you have to be able to talk about your skills in terms of helping make the business better. Not just that I, made 4,000 more calls than Jim did over here, so therefore I need to be promoted, but how I'm help driving the business. And another key thing is how I make you as a manager look good. Because we all view lives through our own eyes. What's in it for me? And your manager, even though you want them to be sort of just objective, and just go by what's out there that they can see, they don't know what's going in your head. And you don't know what's going on in their head or what they value until you ask them. So to be able to try to think about it from their point of view, who was the last person that this person promoted? Is he a kiss ass? Is he work hard? What is it really that person did? Because that's what that manager valued. And it's not gonna matter as much as we would like it to be, the work that we do. It's what that other person is seeing, the one who gets to make the judgment, the one who gets to make the decision. So you gotta know what they value and give them what they want.
Correct.
So at some level, you would want your manager to be an advocate also.
Yes.
Your manager
Yes.
has to be your advocate.
It would be ideal if your manager was your advocate.
Yes, at least one of them.
Yes.
Yes, got it, okay.
And back to your point as well, I think it's the tangibles and the intangibles, right? So if my manager is graded on profitability, and then, let's say, global expansion, and those are the two things. And then let's say I'm graded on a little bit more tactical, where global expansion means bring on 4 new customers. And let's say I didn't bring on 4 new customers, I only brought in two. I didn't hit my goal, but yet I was able to expand. So understanding those tangibles that your manager, your your senior manager, your director, your VP, your president, whatever that hierarchy is, and what the company is. And then the intangibles, I think you were saying is, the intangibles is, what do you contribute? Are you part of are you bringing your company, your work group, together? Or are you, not contributing, right? So if you're one of those people that contribute to the overall success, not just, and we call this breadth of perspective, right? If you have a breadth of perspective outside your own narrow focus, then that's your self-worth, that's what you contribute. Be very vocal about what you contribute. But when you're vocal, there's an acronym that we use. It's called specific, measurable, reasonable, actionable, and time-bound, right? SMART.
Okay.
And whenever you can lay out your case smartly, then people have a tendency to listen.